what just happened. I got totally booted off my live right when I was getting going. So pain can be like pain can be hurt. It can be like piercing pain, physical, like zingy, like ouch kind of pain. Pain can be fatigue. It can be numbness. It can be, I wrote down a couple of soreness. There's a lot of different ways that pain can be felt in the body. So I'm not talking about the type of pain that when you fall and hit your elbow or something. That's not, when I say the pain-free performer, I'm not necessarily just talking about one type of pain, okay? But getting back to the part of this conversation that got cut off, thank you, Instagram, really the notion of when we learn to play an instrument, we don't have very much information about how to use our body to do so. We don't have an awareness or any education of what's involved, even in moving a finger like this, right? You can see actually while I do this that my other fingers are moving, and at no point until my Tamani certification actually did I have any ideas or understanding of why or what's happening, right? So even the notion of how my biceps, here I'm sitting here like flexing a little bit, how my bicep affects what happens on my instrument, okay? Or how my bow grip travels up the arm and also onto the string. So there's this whole notion of understanding the body and what it takes to move, how we could move in a healthier way that many of our music educators don't have. And in that sense, getting back to the idea of luck, we're lucky if we don't have injury, or we're lucky if we have a career in music. A lot of stemming off the luck, a lot of making sure or ensuring more success and less pain can actually be solved through more understanding and awareness of how all the pieces of our anatomy work together. And by that I mean, how can core support take away from hand tension when I play my instrument? How can shoulder stability allow for more movement with my arms? Okay? As music educators, we often don't know how to answer that. We teach the way we were taught in many times and have come to understand that we need to mitigate and alleviate symptoms, and that's become part of what we do, instead of thinking about how to optimize what it is we're doing so that we don't have to relieve so much later, if that makes sense. So in many ways, we don't have to rely on luck. We don't have to think about it as luck that gets us a healthy and positive career in music, right? So if we can really think about how to change the training of our bodies and our systems so that we're optimizing the human body to make music rather than working against it, already we're putting ourselves at an advantage. We're putting it at our place to thrive rather than to fight, right? When our system is working optimally together, we're taking advantage of the natural structures we have. We're taking advantage of the muscles that can hold longer, the muscles that can move more freely, and we're using them in their best positioning together to create that music making experience, okay? So this is the impetus for putting together the Pain-Free Performer. This is what I want to offer my colleagues. I believe and I know that there are solutions out there to help you make music without fighting yourself, fighting your own body, working in opposition to fill in the blank, okay? Okay? Many people are under the assumption that playing with pain is a reality we'll have to live with forever. And this program is really about changing that perception so that you are not fighting yourself to make something beautiful. Okay? So I want to talk a little bit about Tamani and what it is and how it helps, because Tamani has been a huge game changer for me in how I make music and how I use my body to do so. And Tamani is many things, and I'm going to keep talking about it every Monday in these lives. But one thing Tamani has really taught me is how to differentiate my muscles. Okay? That sounds really fancy. We call it muscle differentiation. But it's basically, at its most simplest, am I using the right muscle for the job? Okay? So let me give you an example. In the shoulder of a violin, of anybody, but let's talk about a violin player. In the shoulder of a violin player, I need stability. Okay? So I don't want my shoulder to be unstable while I'm moving my bow. Okay? But there's a lot of muscles in the shoulder. Tons of them. So what muscle is it that I'm stabilizing with? And how can I train that in my body? Okay? So that's one element of Tamani. Through that idea of differentiation and using these structures for the best job that they're capable of, we then start to develop an anatomical awareness or an embodied sensation of our physicality, right? Then I can start to feel when I'm engaging these structures. I can feel the difference when I'm using my support correctly or when I'm not using it enough. I can hear the difference when I'm using these things the way that they are meant to be used, I guess. So I think that oftentimes good teachers and great teachers have the right instinct when it comes to teaching musicians about the body. I think if you watch a great masterclass, you can see a great teacher talking about the correct points, the correct elements, the correct components that could work a little harder or could help a little bit more. But maybe they're lacking all of the vocabulary or all of the knowledge to really access the points that could use the support. And so that's what Tamani can do really well, and that's what this pain-free performer program is going to do. So it's 3 months this summer where we're going to learn and embody our anatomy for making music, okay? So that we're starting to feel the difference between using structures just the way we've used them without thinking about the specifics, and using them in a way that can make music making better, okay? That we can play longer, that we can avoid more injury, pain, that making music feels like a pleasure again, okay? If you ever thought about violin on the fingerboard, did you ever think about how you're going to put it on the fingerboard? Did you ever think about what it will take to put your finger on the fingerboard? Your finger can't just sit out here and work by itself, you know? We've got this whole connection thing to get it done. And there are multiple pathways to go finger move to finger move. So how are we doing that job? So private sessions to talk about the things that you want to address specifically, group movement classes to embody these ideas and this physiology and start to feel support, start to feel strength, start to feel the movement in these different areas. We'll have workshops and master classes with some amazing guests, which I will tell you very soon. And we will also have some group support and group interaction to support each other along the way. I think when you start to dive into this type of approach and this type of training, it can be a little overwhelming. And so having a group around to really support each other and to go like, did you work on this yet? Have you thought about this? What did you think in that movement class? This is what I found hard. Did you notice the same thing? Has been incredibly helpful for myself going through my own trainings and my own experience. And it can feel really isolating when I'm working on these things by myself and I have nobody around to ask those types of questions. It's really, I want to foster that, the kind of feeling like we're all in the practice rooms together, you know, back in the good old days when I remember practicing in college and I'd come out of my practice room and be like, oh, I'm working on whatever, octave scales, whatever. Oh, and it's really hard. And my friend would say, yeah, me too. Have you tried doing this? And then that simple change of perspective on the same issue or the same problem to solve went miles in helping me grow. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to help you with. This is what I know helps. This is what I know will enhance and totally reimagine how it feels to make music. No, you will not be playing oboe out of your belly button. Nothing crazy is going to happen with how you play your music, other than we're going to address how your body interacts with the instrument. We're going to take the luck out of the game. We're going to make you have solutions and answers to the types of discomfort, confusion, pain, and symptoms that maybe you haven't felt like you had an answer for before, or maybe you're just tired of enduring, or maybe you want a little bit of help addressing, right? That's what this program is going to do. It's going to fill in some of these gaps for you so that you have the tools, right? At the end, you know what's going on and you know it. So that's it. Give me any questions you've got, and I'll talk to you next Monday.